Now let's measure the hip drop. So that's 23 centimeters down from the top. Boy, I wish I had my ruler. It's a nice long 40 centimeter ruler. So, hip drop 23. We'll make the mark here and here. 23. I actually cheated and I already measured these and made a little mark. Now for this part, I'm just going to make a dotting line because we want to remember that we don't want to cut that. It's just a point of reference. The next is the hip measurement. So that's 23 centimeters. So let's mark it on here. 23 centimeters in. It's right here. And our waist is 20. So, there. Now we have to get the crotch. The crotch measurement is 5. So, from the hip drop, measure down 5 centimeters. So, we have this dot, this is the hip, and here's the waist. Now, if you were making a pair of sweatpants, the waist would be as wide as the hips, and then you just put an elastic in the top. But this is a more fitted pair of pants. So now just draw the curve that's there. Connect the dots like you used to do when you were little. There. Now, at this point, it's really trial and error. There's no exact science to making pants. You'll see why as we go. But there's no exact science. You make a test pair of pants on cheap fabric, and whatever goes wrong with that pair, you adjust it on that fabric, and then unsew the seam and copy what you fixed onto another piece of paper. So this is your test pattern also. But once you get a great pattern, as with all of your other designs, hang on to it. Some people just like the legs straight like this. And that's it. Experience has told me that for my pants, for this particular design, 6 centimeters works for me for beneath, for the lower crotch. So I'll just add 6 more centimeters. So we have the original 5 centimeters for the crotch, and then add 6, so that'll bring me to 11. Here's another dot. Make sure you don't make this curve so that it's too tight on your thigh. Make sure you still have the thigh measurement correct. So the thigh has to be 28. So the curve is going to have to go here. Fill in that curve, connect the dots, and here we go. Straight edge here. We'll cut out this. Now we do the same for the back. And we do exactly the same for the back using the back measurement. And this line here, where it curves in, is also going to be 6 centimeters in my case. You'll have to practice and see what your choice is for the measurement below the crotch. You may notice here that the inseam doesn't match up perfectly, but that's okay. We'll fix that in the final pattern. I finished the test pants. Now, put them on inside out. The first thing that surprised me, I hope you can see, they're not tight. I thought they would be snug in the thighs. And I realized that mistake I made in the calculation was counteracted by the mistake I made in the measuring. Okay. So it evened itself out, and they actually are not snug as I thought they would be. So you have them on inside out, and this is where you will now mark it up and make the adjustments you want. I want them snugger in the thighs, so here I'll draw the line. This is where I'm going to sew it in a little bit tighter. And that's basically it. Go ahead and make the pants, adjust them however you want, and then just add whatever shape you want below the knee. Then I'll just go ahead and add the bottom of the pants to the final pattern. Okay, now I've been working on one side. I haven't done anything to this side, or I might have done something on this side, but little to nothing. I've been working on this side mostly. I'm almost finished. It's starting to fit more or less how I wanted it to. You gotta make sure you can sit down. Now, it's quick here on film, but I've been working for about 20 minutes, taking them off, sewing a seam, putting them on, fixing it, taking them off, sewing a seam. You know, it's a process. It's a process. But this is going to be a pattern that you're going to use over and over. So it's worth putting the effort into getting it just perfect. So I'm almost done. I've been working just on the one side because you only need one front pattern and one back pattern. One important thing, all the sewing you do not cut any seams, any excess fabric off yet. That's what you do at the very end when you've got it perfect. You don't want to cut fabric and then regret it because you changed your mind. So it's a process. That's what I'm trying to let you know. And just be patient, but you'll get it. And the more you do it, as with anything, the better you get at it. All right, I've finished altering. Now it's a matter of taking the new seam lines that you've created and leaving the seam allowance on the sides. In my case, I like to use 1 centimeter seam allowance. And another thing you should notice, remember when I told you that it wouldn't match up perfectly? It still doesn't. This is the point where you even this out. So we want these both the same length. This side is worthless to me. I didn't make any alterations there. So I take 2 pieces of newspaper together. Here's the front pattern from what we've done so far. Now line that up. More importantly, the leg. This is the part that goes to the knee. That's important that it be straight. On the newspaper, it's not as important, but it's nice to have the lines of the newspaper, the words going up and down, because I actually use those as a guideline when I put it on the fabric. But it's extremely important that this part be straight on the grain lines of the fabric, because that'll help your pants fall the best. Now we'll pin this into place and trace around it with marker or pen or pencil. And now we just add the length. There we go. So here I've gone over the lines in marker. And now all that's left to do, this is the front part, but you'll do the same for the back, is draw the shape that you want the legs to be on the bottom. I suggest if it's your first pair of pants, just do a pair of straight legs. And actually that'll make it easier on top too, kind of baggier and straight legs. But as you start to get better, you'll make different shapes. I'm going to go ahead and draw bell bottoms on the front and the back and then cut out my pattern. So here are my front and back patterns. In part 3, I'll show you how to put it all together for your final pants.